This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. All right. So, like yesterday's session, we're trying to talk about the editor majorly, right? So we talked about the editor, and so in the editor, you have different modes we talked about, and based on the modes, we are going to have some options around each and every mode, or some actions you can perform on each and every mode. And we're going to so do certain modes, or what all the things we talked about is in escape mode we have certain things like copy lines, copy words, paste those lines. You can do it on the escape mode is what we talked about. And the next one is colon mode. Colon mode is you can search something, and you can search and replace also. Okay, and at the same time you can and at the same time you can okay, so try to save the file. Okay, is some options around is some options around so the colon mode. Okay, and the other mode which you have is insert mode. So insert mode is only just to insert your own content. Okay, you want to completely insert the content, so then yeah, it is so then it is insert mode. Okay, if you want to insert your own content, so then it's actually going to be your then it's going to be your insert mode. Okay, so from insert mode you cannot directly jump onto the colon mode, so that's what we have seen there. And you have to always go through escape mode. From insert mode you have to go to escape mode, and from escape mode you have to come back to colon mode. Okay, so that's what actually is a diagram I just tried to show you, right? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the diagram I'm talking about. Okay, so from insert mode you cannot actually directly jump to the colon mode, and insert mode you have to go to the escape mode, and from there you can go to the colon mode. Okay, so this is what the modes we have talked about. All right, now so probably we have some more leftover things inside our or I think even we talked about how do you find the files also, right? After that we talked about how do the find command actually find the files. And yeah, so this is the part which is pending. So we want to download some software from the internet, okay, most of the time. So how do you download it? Okay, so like let's say you have all the tools out there in the syllabus. Okay, in the syllabus you have a lot of tools, and how do you um, kind of download those particular software? Okay, so there are commands for everything in Linux. I already talked about this, right? Everything in Linux is a command. Okay, so you think about the requirement, it's a command. Okay, so for me drinking water in Linux is also a command basically, right? As simple as that. Okay, everything is a command. What command you have to use is what we have to think through. So here downloading files is also a command, and the command which we are going to use is call command. Okay, so using call command, so we can usually download the files, and call also can do the browsing as well. So if you can just give call google.com, so the google.com content you are actually getting it here. Okay, so it shows in a plain HTML format. Of course it's actually a HTML web page only, right? So the browser will mask it, that's it. Now let's say if I just go to google.com, so this is the page you're seeing. Okay, that's fine, but actually the source of this page is view page source. So this looks like this, and the same content is actually showing on the command line. Okay, call will show you. All right, so the raw content basically. Okay, at the source, it will try to show you the source. Now using the call command, you can browse some websites. If the website is a text content, you'll get the text basically. If it's a pure text, like so probably I can go to github.com. Some pure I mean texts will be there, so probably I can go to some, yeah, so something. It doesn't really matter which it is, like let's say inventory or something. So this is a plain text kind of thing. I'll just call this particular URL, not here. If I call this particular one, and you get the plain text, you see this, you got the plain text. If the text is plain, you get the plain. If the content is HTML, you get the HTML content, as simple as that. Okay, or if it is a kind of a shell script. Okay, so now this is a shell script, and I can just take it and take this one. So sorry. So you can just give call this one and you get this, right? So it's a shell script, means you get the shell script. Okay. So however it is, you're going to get that particular content on the command line on the output screen by using call command. Okay, whatever is there in the URL. Okay, it's a browser. It just understand that as a browser. Okay, so all right, so it's a browser command line browser. And the next thing, the call command also helps to download certain files also. You can also download some files. Like let's say I want to download some software, and so like let's say Jenkins is one of the famous software which is available. There's already some example given on the chart, but still, I mean, not in the chart in the sense, in the left side document. So you can just use that. Otherwise, I'm just going with here. So let's say if I click on download, and if I click on something like, so the var file here, so right click, copy link address, and I can just go to here. So call and you do this. But actually it will try to browse the downloading file. No, actually I want to save this file. So then I have to give capital O so that this file will get downloaded. But actually the problem is that the file is not really downloaded. You see this? So actually it is even not showing you that some things are not really working. Okay, but let's try to do some other web page. So Apache. Okay, so like let's say Tomcat Apache any website is fine. So this is also another software. I'll go to the download option. So just go there, and here also I'll find out the one link. Basically I'll copy the link address, and I'll go here and give call -o, and you do this. You give here, but it's actually trying to download. You see this? It's actually trying to download some, just downloaded that file. But why in Jenkins.var file was not really able to download? Why this file it was able to download? So actually Jenkins is actually trying to take you to some other web page. You give get.jenkins.io and you're giving some URL hyperlink. It's actually trying to redirect you to some other web page, and you do that. Okay, so let me click on this. If I just click on my local system, it starts downloading my local system. It will just download in my local system. But if I show you the URL, basically it's not get.jenkins.com. You see this? It's actually taking you to mirror.tuna. Okay, something. All right, so that is the reason it's not happening. Now I wanted to go with I'm opening this. So now I want to, okay, so redirect to some other URL. So the call command is really not actually taking you to some other website, but this website will be moved to some other website, and that gives you the download option. And that's where, and to the call command, I can say that, hey call, you can go with, if it is being redirected, don't bother, just redirect there also. Okay, I'm exclusively telling to my call command saying that, hey, if call is asking you to redirect, then do redirection. Okay, call -l. Now it's actually going to two different web pages. Okay, and after that it actually trying to do that. Okay, so now you got Jenkins.var file. Okay, the file got downloaded. So this is how using the call command is actually you can download this particular files, and as well as you browse it. And one more important option around here is, now let's say I'm saving this as Jenkins.var file, but I want to put it something in my own file name. So probably I can give small o then in that case. So Jenkins -2.249.3.var. I want to put it in a version wise. Okay, I want to give my own file name to download. While I download, I want to give my own file name. So that's also possible. You got it. Okay, so that is how the call command actually can take care of all the options. It can go with not all the options. Yeah, so call command can go with based on the need. You have a lot of options. You can just explore whatever you want. But call -l is a very common option which we use, so that it will try to redirect from one location to another location. If you want to call also to go to the new location, then you have to say that call -l. And -o is to, small o is to give your own file name, or capital O is to just download the default file name. Okay. Now here also in the Jenkins UI also, if I click on this, it's actually downloading in the default file name. If I want to download in separate name, so then I will say that so save link as. So then it will just try to give me, it's actually Jenkins.var. I can say that -2 dot something 2 dot 2 dot something dot var file. It's actually downloading in that particular file name. You see this 2 dot 2 dot var file. So yeah, in Windows also it is the same need, but Linux also it is, yes, it is the same need of downloading to a separate file and downloading to a separate file and downloading it to the default file is also, the options are available. Right? So clear about call command. Any questions?
Yeah, without O we cannot download anything, right?
Without O it will try to browse.
Only browse.
Yeah, it will browse. You cannot browse a var file. You cannot browse a tar file or any archive files. Basically, it will throw you an error. So that I cannot browse it, or it gives you some kind of so some unnecessary content actually. So which technically you cannot actually cat a var. It's a compiled file. So you cannot cat the kind of. You see this, that junk data, you will get it.
Okay.
It's not what you want actually. Yeah, you cannot browse that file. So you need to download that file.
So mostly we used to give O with just for download or anything.
If you want to download, O option. If you want to browse, without O options.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On your need, you have to tell call command what it needs to done here, or what it needs to do. Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? I think yesterday someone was asking some question. I somehow missed that option. Like if I open any file, like let's say cd/, if I go and do ls, there's a so some anaconda, whatever file it is. Like yesterday, someone was asking about how do you add, how do you tell your V editor to show the line number? So that in set space and new is one option which you have. Colon mode. In colon mode, you have option set and new. So you got it. I thought of showing yesterday. I forgot it at the ending. Yeah. All right. Set and new is the option. Yeah. Let's come back to this point. Any other questions, or shall we move on to the next one? So the next one is going to be downloading the files. This is the least used option, but still some people just use this option also. wget is a utility which has a capability to download the files. Only downloading, no browsing. Curl can do both, and most of the time you'll be using curl command only, because wget command will not come by default also in operating systems. Okay, you have to exclusively install that particular software. So just to avoid that, so probably what you can do is you can always go with the curl command, but some people, they usually kind of started with wget, or they like wget, whatever it is. So they can use this wget option also, but option wise curl is much richer. It's much rich than wget option. So wget is just a downloader. It doesn't have much of the options. So curl itself is the widely used option. So if you give wget, so you can see this, the wget command itself is not found. Why? Because the package is not the default package of the operating system. So you have to exclusively go and install that particular package. So then only the things will work. Otherwise, it will not work. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the next one, so is basically is and the next one is basically is you'll be having you'll be having the files from are basically you'll be having the downloaded files is actually in a kind of a compressed mode. Okay, so you need to extract them. So like in Windows you find out like something like a zip, right? You download a zip format, and so you you download a zip format and you kind of okay, so you kind of extract that, right? So that's what you need to do. And in Linux, actually, the native format is .tar. Okay, so in Linux, some people I'm seeing audio issues. There is an Amazon outage is going on basically. This GoToMeeting is hosted on Amazon. Okay, so on Amazon side, there's an outage going on. Okay, so I think this is the news basically. Might be I'm expecting that is the reason. I'm seeing few people just losing their audio. So it's going down. They change the symbol. Okay. Yeah. Just rejoin. I think they cannot even listen this rejoin option also. Let me put it on the chat. Yeah, I think people are back with audio. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. So yeah, now whenever you try to download some files, so those files are actually going to be some compressed format. You need to extract them. Okay, so the compressed format, which you already all the time is a zip format, right? So we have a zip file, but Linux natively, not Linux actually, it's a Unix kind of thing. I mean, back in, what is Unix, right? We already discussed. From Unix side, it is actually the default option, which or the default one is tar. Okay, so tar is the native utility for Linux. Zip is the native utility from Windows, guys. Okay, so but this is a native utility for the native extraction for native compression for Linux. Okay, so that's where if you see all the time tar file, always try to download the tar file, not the zip file. But if you don't have any option, if you have only zip, yes, of course, you can go ahead and do that as well. So right click, copy link address. I think I already extracted a tar file, so you can just see here, there's a tar file already. Sorry, cd enter ls, where it was. Okay, let me download it again. And so let me download it again. Yeah, wget not found, right? So I think we didn't download this file. So you can just go here and put it, paste it here. ls. So you have a tar file, but tar.gz is nothing but tar file is not actually tar file is actually so is not a compression basically. It's an archiving versus compression. So there is a difference basically. Archiving versus compression, there is a difference. What is the difference is archival is nothing like so putting different objects into a suitcase kind of thing. You put a zip, so different objects become one object, right? So but the outlook side, it becomes one object, but internally it has some more objects. Okay, so that's actually an archive. Okay, but compression is you put a lot of pressure on that, and you kind of put a lot of objects into that suitcase. You push it, and you kind of do that. So technically talking about that much, without the lot of energy or pushing, will never happen. So that's kind of a compression basically. Now tar does only archiving. It does not do the tar does only the archiving. It does not do the compression. And so that's where some third-party tools comes into picture, and they apply compression. So that becomes tar.gz now. Okay, tar.gz. So yeah, and these are text compressors only. Don't expect a binary. You take a like let's say 4 GB movie file and you apply a compression. You don't expect the compression will happen on there. No, So these are basically natively, or these basically compression methods are mostly for text content. Okay, so yeah, so we use text programs, applications, right? So I mean to say like programming languages or programmed applications. Yeah, so it's kind of works actually here, but not with some movies or so kind of some MP3, MP4 files, not in that way. All right, so yeah, now we will go with now we kind of go with extracting this particular tar file now. So how do I do that? So tar -x for extract and give the file name. Okay, so give the file name and enter. Now enter. So that particular file is going to extract it into the directory. Oh, sorry. X actually, I missed the option. That's what I'm wondering why it is taking this much time. So X-F also. So the file name is this one you're giving. Yeah, just give ls. Now it gets extracted into this directory. So now go into that directory and do ls. So you can see those. All right. So this is how you you extract it. So sometimes you'll find out bjet2 also. Okay, doesn't really matter. Just give xf and give the file name, and it just extracts it. So different compression methods are xjet also. There is another compression method which is possible. Okay, all right. So this is what we are having. So this is how we are having. So we usually extract the things, and if it is a zip file, so ultimately we need to use unzip command. Unzip, that utility is also not there, so that's where we cannot use it. But still, if it is a zip file, so then you just give unzip and the file name. So that's it. It will automatically extract that particular file into a directory. Okay. So this is how you extract the files. So your Linux operating system, or not Linux, basically, yeah, Linux operating system, the native is tar. So when you find out some softwares while you're downloading, and if you see, a tar option, so always try to use tar. If tar is not there, if zip is given, so yes, of course you can go with the zip as well. Okay. So that's the idea. And how do you extract this tar -xf? One simple option, and you give that one, it will extract automatically. All right, and I see some questions in the chat. So how about web template? So web template, any template doesn't really matter. So if it is a text file, it just compresses the content. It doesn't really matter. So for you, it is a web template. Okay, so for system, it is a simple text file. It's a simply ANSI text file. Okay, it doesn't really matter to that. And the second question of yours is, so yeah, so I mentioned already, I think I'm not sure you missed due to the audio. So this compression is majorly for, we focus on text only, okay, or this compression methods majorly focus on text files, okay, not the other. So if you are actually trying to compress the image files or movies, you have a different compression softwares which deal, those are the different algorithms deals with that kind of data. Okay, so you have to use those utilities, but text is the default thing which we use around majorly in the backend world. So that's where we are actually going to generally use gjet and all we see generally. Yeah, so and regarding your another question, so how about call -l and -o options? So -l is to redirect basically. I think you lost the audio that time again. So call command basically cannot download the file if it is actually getting, or cannot actually browse the website. It's actually moving to some other place. Okay, call, like let's say https google.co.in. So this google.co.in is actually getting moved. Actually, the document is moved. So if you want to follow that particular move document, then you use -l, then you get the output. Okay, so to allow the redirection, so we'll be using the hyphen capital L, and hyphen capital O is to download the file rather than browsing. Actually, I want to download google.com web page, so then I can go and view hyphen O option. Okay, so yeah, that's how it actually downloads. I think there is no file to download basically. Okay, so that's the reason it's actually telling that there is nothing to download. So if you want to particularly say that no, you should download, so then I have to go and give small o, and we'll probably, like, let's say index.html file, then it downloads that particular file and stores that content in that particular one. So this is the HTML file. Okay, so that's about those options. Okay, so anyone, any other questions on this compression?
For unzip, you said something. Can you repeat that once, please, Raghu?
Unzip is a command. So this command is not there actually in this operating system. So unzip also will not come because it's not a native tool, right? So unzip and the file name. If you have installed that particular utility, it's unzip and the file name, and then you get it. That file should be there, so, and you can get it. So probably if you don't bother about what I'm executing, then let me install unzip. Yeah. And let me download one zip software. So here is there is some software. Copy link address. All hyphen capital O. That's the URL. And unzip Apache Tomcat -9.0.zip file, and it extracts it. All you need to do is you need to have that particular utility installed in your system. Yeah, we'll talk about the installations anyhow later. Yeah, if you have it, you can make it work.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone?
Sir.
Any other? Yeah.
Sir, how to find that options is there no?
Mm-hmm.
-O, -L, like options are in different locations, like wget or somewhere. Like a tar -f -x is there. How to identify that one?
Any command with hyphen help will give you the options. Call hyphen help.
Okay.
It gives its options.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Any questions? Okay, so fine. So the next one is actually going to be the pipe symbol. So far actually you're executing only single command, and so now you'll be entering into multi commands. Okay, so if you go with combining multiple commands, and you want to put some relation between them, or if you don't want to put some relation between them, then you can execute something like ls and semicolon ls. So you can differentiate two commands actually, or you can execute two commands at the same time on the same terminal or the same terminal line by using semicolon between them. So it need not be the same command. Any command is okay. So like let's say echo hello, let's say, so some command. So then what's going to happen? First ls command is executing, and then the echo hello command is also getting executed. Okay, now I wanted to so I mean there is no relation between them, but you're actually putting in the same command line, on the same line you're putting, so that you can just put some bunch of commands and run it in a single shot kind of thing. That's it. It's individually different commands, and it's actually going to execute one by one. That is simple, very plain format. Okay, semicolon is what you use between two commands, but there's no relation between them. Now I want to bring some relation. Okay, what is the relation here I want to bring here is, so the first command output I want to send it to second command. First command output I want to send it to second command as an input to the second command. So then I'll use pipe symbol. Okay, then I'll use pipe symbol. So for an example, cat/etc password file. Now out of this, I want to pipe grep for root. So the output of this cat command is lot many lines, and piping that particular output and giving to the grep command. So grep actually, so catches from that particular pipe symbol and applies its operation. You're asking for grep root and you're getting it in grep root at least. Okay, so this is how we are going to deal with the pipe symbol. Okay, and also at the same time, all the commands you cannot actually go with. All commands you cannot actually go with pipe symbol again. Okay, for an example here, so touch sample.txt ls file, you have sample.txt file, and echo sample.txt. Echo is nothing but it just prints something on the screen. Now you are actually echoing so that the file name is actually getting echoed, and you are piping to rm-f file or rm-f. Rm-f is supposed to do what? It actually tries to delete it. But you do ls, basically you still see that sample.txt is still already there. Okay, it's not really removed. It's not really removed. So what is your understanding there is you pipe it, so the command on the other side, the second command, whatever you're using, it is supposed to take the input. Actually, it is supposed to take the input. Okay, so that is where okay, so let me tell you in this way. So the second command actually is capable of reading the input from the pipe symbol. Okay, every command actually does not read the input from the pipe symbol. Okay, you have to keep that simple point in mind. Every command cannot actually take the input from the pipe symbol. Okay, if such case, you can take some third-party command help and you can take care of that. So now the same echo, you're sending it to xaux now. Xaux is the one which actually takes the input from this particular first command and passes it to the rm command in a normal way. Okay, so that's how it actually just try to do some masks there. Okay, so now you do ls, actually you don't see that sample.txt file anymore. Okay, do ls, you don't see the sample.txt file anymore. Now if you don't have the so the command whatever you use here, you don't have any command, you don't have capability, okay, for this particular command to read the input from the pipe symbol, then what you can use, you can put some xaux. But this is a pretty rare option. I mean, a rare option. So most of the time, most of the commands will accept the input from the pipe symbol, but rm command actually doesn't do that. Okay, so yeah, that's it, nothing more than that. But you keep in mind the second command depends upon the second command only. So it will work or it doesn't work. But the first command output you want to send as an input to the second command. That's the relation between the two commands you are making, and that's where you use pipe symbol. Or if you don't want any relation, you just want to execute two commands individually, so then you can go for semicolon. All right, I think that's all on the pipe symbol perspective. Any questions? I hope I answered your questions, Nilesh. Yeah. So any other questions? All right. Now, so with this, actually, Linux basics are completed. Okay, so we want to get on to some administrative concepts. And going to the administrative concepts, so this machine, whatever you are using in Katacoda, is clearly not possible, basically. Okay, so that is where we wanted to go to. That's where we wanted to go to creating our own servers in Amazon, and I wanted to deal with those particular servers only. From now on, I wanted to go to and create my own servers. How do I do that? So I asked every one of you to go ahead and create your Amazon account. I hope every one of you have created your AWS accounts.
Yeah.
So yes, Venkat, you're saying something?
Yes, See, in Katakoda, say I am unable to type anything. Say I am able to do your commands by clicking those things. Do I want to type anything? Do I need to enter any special command or something like that? In Katakoda, in the terminal, I am unable to enter any of the other than commands. So for a practicing purposes, say if I want to ls or do anything like that.
Yeah, you can execute. You open it, you execute ls command, it works.
I'm unable to type it anything there. Say I am able to only click on the whatever you commands given in the left hand side. When I click it, it will print there. And it will execute those things. But if I want to execute any of the commands, say after executing those things, if I want to give any ls or something like that, I'm unable to type anything. Now also I have opened the in front of you. Say after while you were doing this.
I don't think so. Let me. I just opened in incognito mode. No login, nothing. I'm having. So
Okay,
if I just click on
sure, I will try
scenario,
one more time.
yeah, if I
Sure,
click on start scenario, so then it will ask for sign up. I already mentioned this, so you can just click on login with your Google account is what I mentioned, right? So you can just go and click on your Google account, and yeah, it kind of comes here, and yeah, you should actually give it a try once again. Yeah.
Sure, I will try.
Yeah. Yeah. So now on, so we will go ahead and create our own servers, and we'll connect to our servers, and we will so we will okay, use our servers basically. All right, so let's go to so server creation in AWS. I think we already have some options over here. So saying how to create your AWS account also you have. Just fill in your details, and okay, so fine. And after that, so here once you open Amazon console, it looks like this basically. Okay, so I already have an account. Let me open my account. I also created a new account. So 3. Yeah. So this is how your Amazon just for the first time when you log in basically, or any Amazon account you log in to your own account. So there's a web page you look in there. Okay. So you need to understand certain things here. So what all the things you would be understanding here is you'll be understanding what is Amazon regions in Amazon. Okay. So what are the regions in or what is the region in Amazon? Okay. And Amazon offers different regions basically. If you just on the top here, if you drop down, so Amazon is actually having the regions in these particular different places. What is this region? Okay. And what is this region, and why do you why do they decided to go with that particular region concept? Why don't they host everything in one place? Okay, the very first thing is okay, the business. Okay, the business and its latency basically, right? And that means if I'm an Indian customer, and if I choose the data center of US, or if I choose to keep my data center in US, then all my business is from India. So then all my traffic actually go over the wire and reach it over to the US servers and come back. Every request should travel over the wire, has to reach there and come back. Okay, so try to understand so how much difficult it is going to be, and ultimately what's going to happen, you're going to find out the latency. Okay, you're going to find out the latency. All right, so okay, and your business or your application, the end users are actually going to see it in a very slow way. Okay, so the responses are going to be very slow on your application side. So that's where every company while try to set up the Amazon, so what they will try to do is they'll always try to choose the region which is very near to them. Okay, if it is in the cloud side, or even so they try to keep the data center which is very near to where the business is high. Okay, so that's where Amazon actually so give the regions or has set up the regions in different geographical locations. Okay, so yeah, and during the business, or if you are actually choosing a business decision, your region has to be very nearer for your business, where whoever the customers uses your application majorly, so it has to be in that region. Okay, so now I am sitting in in India, so probably Mumbai region is there. I can choose that. I can choose that, or you have like let's say the business in somewhere in, like let's say Singapore, you choose Singapore region. So whichever is nearer, but every country they're not giving again at the same time. Every country they're not giving. So what you have to do is you have to choose the nearer region. Okay, so that's it. All right. So that's how you usually okay, choose the region for business. So the region should be chosen for the real-time projects. The region should be chosen. Region should be chosen based on the business, basically. All right, but now here we are using a lab. Basically we're using a lab. Okay, so since we are using a lab, and so I want to stick with one region. I don't want to really go with the region where I have some business or something like that. I want to stick with one region, but the region has to be, I will be choosing is North Virginia, because North Virginia is a kind of a region. So yeah, it's a first region that Amazon has hosted, and all the new features starts from North Virginia region only. Okay, any feature that Amazon want to release, or any new services in Amazon they want to release, they'll always start with North Virginia. Okay, so that's where and also it is a little bit cheaper when you compare with other regions as well. Okay, so since cost is also little factor for us, we'll always choose North Virginia, because we'll not run extensive kind of applications 24/7. Think about latency, right? So latency doesn't bother for us, and so what all I bother is basically is the cost wise, basically. Okay, and that's where, and also like if everyone actually using the same region, I will also not have any problems in solving your questions. Sometimes you choose another region, certain things will not be there. Okay, so we end up into kind of issues. Okay, so that's where everyone, let's stick with one region. Okay, so any of the US region is fine, but like let's say North Virginia is a major one, so I will choose the North Virginia region. Okay, so for our sessions we'll be using North Virginia region, but keep in mind so the regions are decided based on the business. Okay, so yeah, and every region is a logical entity in Amazon, but every region have something called as availability zones. If you go to North Virginia region only, there are 6 availability zones available at least. Okay, so, and what is an availability zone is nothing but a one data center. Okay, so that's how okay, so that's how they are going to give the high availability services. If one data center goes down, there are still other 5 data centers powering up the applications, basically. So that's how they usually give. If they announce a region, that has to be minimum more than one region, one availability zone. A region is going to have 2 availability zones, not 1. Okay, they always start with number 2 only. Okay, so that's how, and they will increase based on the demand, basically, right? So yeah, that's how we are going to get the availability zones. All right, so like let's say in Indian region, so they announced the 3rd availability zone also recently. I think 10-15 days back they announced a new availability zone also in Hyderabad. Okay, so like AWS upcoming availability zones. Okay, so global infrastructure, if you see, so the upcoming regions also you will see in this particular diagram, basically. So 5 announced regions and 77 availability zones, and I think upcoming also you will see here. Yeah, coming soon you will see, you see, so something Hyderabad is coming soon. Somewhere in Osaka you are getting in Japan, and UK side, the Spain they announced, and oh no, not Paris should be there. What is this? Red color. Okay. Okay, Paris, they're putting another one. No, Switzerland, right? Switch. Okay, so those are the availability zones which is coming up, and even I think Singapore or Jakarta, they're putting another one. Yeah. So I mean, the availability zones are coming up here. So that means there is a huge business happening in these areas. At least we can understand that way. They're increasing the thing. So then yeah. So then definitely there's more business coming up here. Okay. So they're forecasting more business coming in this area. All right. So yeah, and yeah, actually I think that guy actually who asked in the demo one question, there was one question. I don't want to prolong the conversation. There's one point, actually interesting point he mentioned, that so when I say that there is no middleware actually really running in the market, so he mentioned that in Middle East actually we kind of so still use this middleware. Our new projects are also on middleware. It's kind of that I mean that point is wrong. Something it's happened, right? If you remember. So that's true basically. So why? Because Middle East is not an IT based. Middle East is not something which is IT based. What we call region. So they all based on so their own natural resources basically, right? So it's not into IT. That country is not into IT. Like you take US, it's actually into IT. Like you take Canada, it's into IT. That means a lot of companies, actually startups are there. The business is there. It's also plays a vital business. The IT business plays a, software business plays a what we say, a decent kind of role in the economy basically, right? So noticeable kind of a role in the economy, okay, in certain countries. But Middle East, it doesn't really. So what they do is they'll just run their operations on IT. That's it. They just use the softwares. They don't develop the softwares, and that's where those people are still using the old technologies, okay. And so they are not really into the trend. But you look in there, so here also more is happening in these regions around this, okay. So yeah, all right. So yeah, that's fine. Just want to mention
Hello.
that. Yeah.
Hello. Sorry for the interruption, Raghu.
Yeah.
You 2 days back you also said there is no DB also. Tell me that what? Hello.
What I told?
You said there is no DB also from coming future also. You said as like middleware. 2 days back I will tell.
Middleware is a technology, right? So middleware is a technology. No more getting in the market. Database. What I told you, database will not.
Okay.
There's a lot of noise from your side. So so what I told is the database role, whatever you're playing, will not be the same. Okay, I played a Linux admin role. There is no Linux admin role today. Okay, the role has been changed. The database role you're playing, the role means responsibility you're playing will be no more. If you look into the forecast in the future, you have to move on to some other areas where you have to try to adopt some other things. Okay, so like a cloud or DevOps or whatever it is. That's what I mentioned. I didn't mention database role will not be there. DB has to be mandatory. That's mandatory component. So, but middleware is something which is going in such a way that its database is middleware is really not needed. Database also I can say that, okay, because Amazon already achieved that. Amazon achieved that, so no DB concept actually. If you go to the DynamoDB, so there is no DB concept here. Okay, so it's a simple SaaS service, direct SaaS service. You use it, that's it. No DBA, no maintenance, nothing, doesn't really require. The market is actually trying to lead into such area. Okay, so since you mentioned Oracle DBA, so Oracle DBA, like at least I know Oracle DBA from at least 6-7 versions. Okay, whatever those guys are actually doing in 6th version and 7th version of Oracle database, the things are around, so you take from at least from 12c is a cloud kind of thing. So from there, they almost 90% of the job they moved on from the back end to the front web application and into the automation, right? So you're not doing anything. So it's almost like so 7 years back only, I think 6-7 years back only, your role has been cut off into so much basically. But the adoption takes time. So that's what I mentioned. Okay, but database role will be there. Database knowledge is needed. that should be there, but not the previous way. It actually has to be a different way. That's what I mentioned. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. I was saying something. Yeah, let's come back to the availability zone. So availability zone is nothing but one data center. So Amazon offers the business in different Amazon offers the business in different regions, and every region is going to have minimum one or more data centers. Okay, so that's how the availability zone comes into picture. So this terminology you should understand. Okay, so later we'll start designing the things. While designing these things matters basically. All right, and also Amazon offers different services, and also they group them. So basically they're calling it as some compute services. They're putting it here. Okay, so probably some container services they're putting it here. Okay, some machine learning services they're putting it here. So like this, there are different services in Amazon. Okay, so we'll be using the services which we want and from different okay, even groups as well. But yeah, so services will be grouped under a major one, and so yeah, that's how the Amazon actually shows on the dashboard basically. And so finally, get into servers. So first of all, we want to start with some servers only. Okay, directly if you jump onto the SaaS, you will never understand it. You open Katacoda, what is happening behind the scene? You didn't know, right? You don't know really what's happening in Katacoda. You don't really know. Okay, so how you got that prompt also we don't know, right? So but basically you should have a server, you should install it, and you should get it kind of thing. So that basically that everyone understands, right? You have a laptop, you bought a laptop, you installed it, and you got an operating system. That everyone is clear. Okay, so but today is actually if you open the laptop, it's already pre-installed. You probably don't understand what happened, right? So kind of thing I'm just trying to say that so we want to start with the bare servers only, and the server service in Amazon is nothing but called as EC2. So one of the fundamental service, so one of their foundational services. That means Amazon all started with these services, certain few services, and EC2 is one of them. And so in EC2, they are actually going to provide servers. Okay, servers are virtual and physical. They'll provide you they will provide you virtual servers, and they'll provide you physical servers also. Okay, both, whatever you want, you can choose that. Okay, so that means if you just go to the Amazon console, go on to look into the services and click on EC2, the very first service. Click on EC2, and so here if you go to the instance types on the left side, you just click on instance types. They offer metal services also. Metal means basically it is a physical bare metal. Okay, so if you just go with the bare metal, so these are the let me put like metal. So these are the metal. You see these all these metals, right? So like let's say if I take C5 metal, and so you're going to get 96 CPUs. Okay, and along with 196 GB of RAM. Okay, 196 GB of RAM you're going to get, but actually the pricing is $4 per hour. The pricing is $4 per hour. Okay, so just think about how much costly it is. Okay, so per hour it becomes so 16 to 4, right? So how much becoming, just understand that, right? So almost $200 per hour, so which is too costly, right? So we cannot afford this. Like companies, they can go with this, but we as an individual, we cannot actually afford this, right? So that's where we always go with the virtual machines. So then what is a virtual machine here? So physical machine, right? I already shown you the data center, how it looks like. What is a rack server? I shown you even in the data center how it looks like. But so that's a physical machine. Then what is a virtual machine? Virtual machine is nothing but so on a one particular machine, you try kind of simulate the things. It's not a real machine. It's a kind of simulation you have to make. If you make the simulation, you get. If you make the simulation and you get you run on top of that. It's a simulated hardware. It's a simulated hardware, and you run operating system on top of that one. So that's a virtual machine. Okay, so there is a simulator software which will be installed on your system. Okay, and using that particular simulator, you can go ahead and create a virtual machines. And technically talking about, that's called as a hypervisor. So there's a technical term there. Hypervisor is a term which we go with. In the physical software, you're going to install one software. You are going to install some operating system, and on top of operating system, you're going to install some hypervisor software. And using that particular hypervisor software, which is going to emulate the hardware, so which will try to, so kind of allows you to install multiple operating systems by emulating a virtual hardware. That's what it does. Right? You see this, you're having hardware. On top of that, you install some appliance, basically like operating system plus that particular emulator. And yeah, on top of this, you're going to create some virtual machines. And on top of this virtual machine, you're going to have the hardware. So that is how a single machine will have the multiple operating systems you can run, multiple virtual machines we can run. Okay. And now Amazon is actually going to give you these particular virtual machines also. So Amazon provides virtual and as well as physical, and physical servers are referred as metal, and most of the time it is a virtual machine, as I mentioned, right? So yeah, these are the things which you have here. But on the server side, what is the hypervisor software we use is VMware. You have VMware ESXi, you have Xen is a software, you have KVM, you have. On the server side, mostly used are these one, and widely used is Xen. Widely used is Xen. Okay, Xen is the very much widely used one, Citrix Xen. Okay, so yeah. But whereas on the desktop side also you can do that. Okay, desktop also you can install VMware Workstation, you can install Oracle VirtualBox, you can install Parallels. Okay, you can install Parallels. These are the different utilities on the desktop also. I have a desktop with me and I want a new virtual machine, then probably I will just go and install any of the software which is compatible with my operating system, and I can create some virtual machines on top of that. Okay, so like let's say I think Parallels desktop is already there in my system. Okay, so yeah, so something actually I disabled it, some features. That's okay, but if you open that, you can create some virtual machines and you will be using it. All right, so this is how we wanted to. So this is how, okay, not we wanted to. So this is how that Amazon offers the servers, like virtual and physical. So we go with virtual machines, and virtual, what is a virtual machine? That's understanding. And what is the server side? What is the desktop side? So these are the different softwares you have on the server side and desktop side. All right, so now we can go ahead and create our own servers. We are ready to create our own servers, but there is something we need to still talk about that. I think let's skip that particular part. We'll talk about later. So for now, I will just go with creating a server. Okay, how to create a server? So there is again the process given over here. So how to create a server is go to UC2, okay, and go to AMI, okay. So, and even you don't need to go with this also. I will show you even in a simpler manner. So what you can do is you can just go to instance, go to the instances, okay, launch instance, and you should choose the operating system. So in operating system, so basically if it is a normal system, you put CD, pen drive, and you install it, right? In a virtual world, that's already pre-installed and convert into a kind of an image. Convert into a kind of image, and you can always extract that particular image while you're creating the server. That image will be loaded automatically. That image will be loaded into the hard disk and it will run. Okay, so that's kind of approach you have it in virtual world. Okay, so that flexibility that Amazon is also using, and they're calling it as AMI, and they're calling it as AMIs. So you can use AMI, and using AMI you can using AMI you can try to okay, so you can try to create your servers. Okay, so different operating systems they'll show, different operating systems they will show. Okay, so and different operating systems they will show, and which operating system we should choose. We already know that we are using CentOS 7, right? But yeah, so so I had to go to the community AMI and find out the CentOS image, because here you will not find out by default in the quick start, you will not find out the CentOS at least. Okay, so or you search for CentOS, you will not get it. Okay, but you will get it in marketplace. Okay, and you will get it in community also. But there is an AMI which is I already customized for these particular sessions, this DevOps sessions. I customized one AMI, and that AMI is available here. So you can just use that particular AMI. Okay, so how do you find out that particular AMI is? So you can just go for DevOps-practice. So just you search with exactly with caps and small letters, whatever I entered, DevOps-practice, capital D, capital O, capital P. To use DevOps practice, and you hit enter, you get that particular image, CentOS 7 DevOps practice. Or I can just go and give, let's say DevOps, you get so many. Okay, from these at least you should be able to find it out my image as well. You can also find it out mine. Okay, so at the last it is coming, or else you can go for DevOps-practice. Let's see whether it is coming. It is coming without case also, that's fine. Okay, so DevOps-practice, you search for that, and yeah, you're getting it. Okay, so cool. And just choose this particular image for our sessions. You just choose this image, so it makes your life easy in certain areas. What is that? You'll slowly understand that as well. So it's a pre-built image, so for making our session smoother. Okay, bit not session smoother, I would say. So some kind of tools embedded in that particular one, so which will help you in doing the things much faster, basically. Okay, I'll talk about that later, but just choose this image. But choose this image, I would say. Choose this image only. If you choose other image, okay, the options whatever I mentioned may not work. Okay, if you already know how to create servers also, no problem. So but just follow this particular process just for a few days. Okay, there won't be any confusion between there won't be any gap between you and me. Okay, so if all follows the same process, at least until you feel comfortable, just follow my process. If you know, I will not stop you. If you know what you're doing, you can go ahead and do whatever you want. I don't stop you. But if you don't know the things, just follow me, so that you'll learn along with the sessions. Okay, so that's what I would suggest. So DevOps 7 practice is what you have. So just click on select, and here there are Amazon offers different types of instances. Amazon offers different types of instances. So they call it as different alphabetical series. So here they are calling it as a T series, T general purpose series. Okay, Amazon EC2 instance types. If I take you to their Amazon, so these are the different instance types which they offer, basically. A series, T series, M series, you have here, which is a general purpose, they call it as. And after that, you have something called as compute optimized. So C series they are having. And also the next one is memory optimized. R series and Z series they are having. X series also they are having it. And the next one is accelerated computing, so mostly for gaming and all. So you have some P series, G series, F series also you have. And storage optimized, I series and D series you have, and H also something they have. Okay, and so yeah, that's what the different series that Amazon offers now. Now, what is your purpose? Your purpose decides which instance you want to use. Okay, now let's say I'm actually trying to run kind of an analytics. Probably I require a lot of compute. Okay, so then I'll choose compute instance types. Okay, or else I am actually more into the database side. I'm using those particular servers to install some database and run that. Then I'll go for memory optimized. Okay, because I require a lot of memory on the databases. Okay, so yeah, we'll go with that. And at the same time, the next thing is now let's say if you are actually so you require to store a lot of data. Okay, some in the databases also you have again data nodes and compute nodes. Okay, so you require to store a lot of data, then I series they have. Okay, or let's say forget about that, so we want to go with a very general format. I don't know, I don't judge right now. Like let's say I just want to start with something, so then there is so everything is balanced, like neither CPU is higher or memory is higher, so the things are kind of balanced. And if the things are balanced, okay, you can always the things are balanced, then you want to go with okay, so creating a servers, then you have some T series, M series you have, and A series. So T series is very general. M is you're going to get little performance. Okay, network side, memory side, you'll get little performance. And A is also another series majorly. Okay, but A is a gravitation processor. Okay, so it also depends upon the processor. Like T series is basically you're going to get Intel processor. Okay, majorly you'll find out Intel processors. And yeah, so but A series is something, so you'll find out Graviton processor, which is AWS custom processor. And AWS also introduced their own processor in this year, basically. What is that? AWS processor. Is it Graviton or? So this year only they released one processor. What is that? Labs. I've seen that news recently only. Yeah, whatever it is. So again, A series is basically ARM based processors. So it's not Intel based processors. So ARM based. ARM is nothing but again it's a different types of hardware. Okay, x86 is an Intel architecture basically. You have ARM is another one. So that actually comes in there here. But whereas if you go here, so you'll find out. So even T4G actually they're calling it as. Let's go with T3. So T3, if you go there, then you will see x86. Your x86 it's not showing anywhere. That's fine. It's actually going to be the x86 hardware. So most of your softwares also, while you download, you have to download the appropriate one. So like let's say Elastic, some software I want to show you the different types of hardwares. Like generally whatever they give you, right? So let me go to all products, Elastic. So like let's say if I go to download page, download, you see this, they actually give you Debian, RPM 32-bit and 64-bit, and also you'll find out, okay, so it's actually going to be a common one. Okay, so RPM actually it goes into common. So you'll find out I can grab any other ARM RPMs. So you'll find out some ARM specific hardware level RPMs also. RPM is nothing but a header package. We don't to really get into that much detail, but still keep in mind. Okay, so so the hardware is what. We choose most of the. Most of the software supports x86 hardware. That's keep in mind, and based on that you have to choose. Okay. So now the instance types, whatever they offer is different instance types here. Where is this? Let's go back here. So different instance types, and they're calling it as, so with a simple character, starting with some character. Okay, general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing. So different things. Now out of this, after this, you're getting some number again. You see this? So T3, T2, T1. Earlier it used to be. Okay. So then what is this hardware? What is that numbers basically? Is a hardware refresh number. Hardware refresh number. So the hardware will get exhausted after 3 years. Easily any hardware you take it actually the capability they calculate is generally like generally they call it as 3 years. Beyond 3 years, it's done with its life basically. The life of a hardware generally is going to be 3 to 5 years. Okay. So that's where every 5 years the hardware refresh will happen. And also you observe your laptop after 3 years, most of the laptops will not work. So they design something, so in such a way generally. Okay. So usually, okay. So the life is generally given, the make life is generally given as 3 years. So after that, those will definitely get outdated because 3 years there is a large happens in the technology side. Okay. So yeah, that's fine. And so that's how, so they actually kind of give a generation. So T3 is the latest generation, T2 is a old generation. So that means the hardware. So if I go with let's say T3 is released today, that means T2 hardware if I choose, that's a 3-year-old that's 3-year-old hardware basically. That's a 3-year-old hardware. And if I look into if I go to the T3, definitely I'll get higher performance here because this is a new hardware and this is an older hardware. the new hardware, and this is a older hardware. So that's where you have to keep in mind. So always try to go with the latest generation. Why? Because the performance is going to be higher, and at the same time, cost will also be cheaper on the latest generation, not the old generation one. Why? Because of course, right? Of course. Okay, so back in days I bought a pen drive with at least, at least I spent almost $200 of even the current cost actually to get a 1 GB pen drive. To get a 1 GB pen drive back in days, okay, 15 years back, we spent almost like 2,000 rupees. Not 2,000. Yeah, around 2,000 or 2,500. The first pen drive I would remember. Okay, so not $200. I think it might be some $20-$25. Okay, but now $20-$25 you'll get a 1 terabyte hard disk also. Okay, so that's how, so it's been evolved, right? So that means cheaper. So going forward, the new hardware always comes into cheaper things. So okay, so Amazon also just follows into the same thing. The new hardware always will be cheaper. The T3s or any newer thing always will be cheaper if you look into the pricing. Okay, but let's come back here. But your EC2 is actually telling you that if you use T2 micro, then this is free. Okay, you're going to get one instance free for you. Okay, so if you use only T2 micro, if you choose any other instance, then you'll not get for free. Okay, for us, that instance is fine. You can just use that particular instance, and you can go for configure instance details. No need to modify anything here. Add storage, nothing to modify here. Add tags, nothing to modify here. Configure security group, nothing to modify here. Review and launch, nothing to modify here. Just click on launch. So here, just choose proceed without a key pair. Okay, we don't want this. Just proceed without a key pair. That's it. Launch instances. The instance is getting launched, and view instance. Okay, the instance is actually coming into picture. So now we want to connect to this particular instance, right? So yeah, so most of you might be using a Windows operating system. So let me show you the Windows. Okay, so yeah, it's actually coming to running now. It's actually coming to running. So that means the instance might be up. So we need to connect to that instance. I think few people might be a Mac OS also based people also is there. For Mac OS guys, what you need to do is you just need to use this public IP address. What is this public IP address? I'll talk about in one hour day. Mostly tomorrow I'll try to talk about this. So I can just use this. Okay, so this public IP address. And so in your Mac OS, you have an inbuilt terminal. You have an inbuilt terminal. You open the terminal and just give SSH CentOS, not CentOS, root @ this one, enter. And it asks for you the password. You have to enter the password. Okay, that's it. That's what you have to do. Or probably it might ask you yes or no in between. Okay, you have to give yes. Okay, so that's what you need to do. All right, but whereas a Windows guy, so how do you connect to that? So you need to install some software to do this. Okay, so that particular software, yeah, that particular software is going to be PuTTY. Okay, go to internet and download a PuTTY software. So just go for PuTTY and then download. All right, so you can go to the putty.org and you click on PuTTY and you'll find out a download PuTTY. Click here and you'll find out whether you want to install 32-bit or 64-bit. Go with the 64-bit. I think most of your operating systems are 64-bit. Download and install next. That's it. You don't need to do anything. And after that, in your start button, so you'll find out a PuTTY software. Okay, so open that, and all you need to do is just grab the IP address, public IP address here, and paste that particular public IP here. That's it. And ask for yes or no. So just click on yes. If you're a Mac user, it's just gonna ask you like, yeah, I mean, on the prompt you have to type yes and then enter. So the username is root, because root is the default user we talked about, right? Administrator. Root is the administrator in the operating system. So we use not always, we use root now because you know that part only, right? You already know root from So for some basics we already talked about. So login as root, and the password. The password is capital D DevOps, capital O DevOps 321. Okay, so you give that and you get it here. All right. So this is how you got this. I think the colors are actually a little tricky here. You will not get white color anyhow. You will get this only. Okay. What happened to my image? I think this is because of some remote session, but usually if I log in, usually get this one. So yeah, this. All right, that's fine. Okay, this is a custom image made for this, and there's a clear disclaimer. Okay, read that once. Okay, this image is designed for only for our lab purpose. Okay, of learning DevOps, and not recommended at all to use in production of any company's environment. Okay, I had to write this particular disclaimer because earlier it was not there, and earlier this logo also I didn't mention. Okay, so clearly I was just giving the image, but one student started using in his company's environment. Okay, so I am clearly saying that you should not never use in any company's environment. Okay, so very clear is there. So do not use it in your companies. Use it for your lab purpose only. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that's it. You logged in and you got a prompt and you got free to execute any of the commands. That's it. Right. Server creation is quite simple. All you need to do is you need to search for, if you just click on launch an instance, all you need to do here is you need to search for DevOps-practice. Okay, and you get that particular image, choose that. Next. That's it. Click on select, and probably after that instance actually comes to T2 micro, even you can go to directly review and launch also. You know, to clear, click on next, even click on review and launch. That's it. Everything comes. Or else just click on next, but don't modify anything at all at this point of time. So time by time or day by day, so we'll start improving certain things. Then you'll understand what all the different options out there. We'll start customizing one by one as well whenever they are needed. Okay, so that's the idea. Right, so now you connected to the server. To connect any server, you should have a username and password. So the username and password here is here in the same image, in the same screenshot. If you just follow, you have the username and password. It's root and DevOps 321. The username is DevOps 321. It's quite common, and you use it across all the time in the sessions. I think it's not a very difficult thing also to remember, but if you want, you can store it somewhere also in a text file or somewhere. You can use it. All right. So, but this is going to be the quite common thing. All right. So I think that's all to how to create a server and connect to the server. Any questions on this so far?
Yeah, Raghu, use Linux on Amazon Linux. It is better now.
No, Amazon Linux is a customized one. So which is out of Amazon, you will not be ever able to work. CentOS is a very generic one. You tell me what is the advantage here.
Okay. What you execute commands both are same na? Linux and CentOS different is there.
Already mentioned in the very starting of the session. Why CentOS? So we already talked about it. Yeah.
Okay. I will miss that session. Okay.
Yeah, it's already had family. Okay. It's already had family.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions?
Yeah, Raghu. Hello.
Yeah.
So we are creating server in AWS through virtual machines. So in future also, if you practice DevOps, I have my own tab is 4 GB RAM. Enough na? No problem. Because we are not 4 GB RAM. That is, I have a laptop, my own laptop.
Yeah, you're not running anything on your laptop, right? No problem.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Any question? Yeah.
Yeah, for tomorrow's session, so hope we have to create the thing which you have showed, the server, right?
Yeah. From now on, we'll use our own servers in Amazon. No more Katakoda. Katakoda, we have one more topic, but yeah, for document reference, we'll do. That's it.
Okay.
But we'll be executing on our own Linux.
Yeah, we should be ready with the server creation by tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you should practice server creation.
Okay. Thank you.
So starting tomorrow, we will follow with you on the labs or what?
No. In never any of the session, you will never follow in the session, or you will never do in the session. After the session only, you should be doing it, because that way we'll not be able to achieve these many topics in the given amount of time. Okay. So I already told, right, the best practice is during the session, focus on the session, how it is going on, what we are doing, and after the session, you watch the video once and try to list out your own notes or whatever you want. During the session also, you don't try to make your own notes, okay? Because as it is session, you'll get it on the recording. But focus on, in the session, try to focus on logical points, okay? If I'm saying a point to point, that point to point actually should be connected. You should not see any kind of a gap there. So that if you have any kind of queries, you have to clear there itself. And after the session, you'll go and try to write your, so watch the video, write your own notes and own notes, as well as along with that. So, probably from every session. So if you want to keep so what this session actually, what are the topics we covered also, you can maintain your own notes. And what you need to practice from that session also, you try to make it a note kind of thing. Then you start doing the practice. So that's where it's easier for you to reference the notes wise. You'll refer and you can go and, so in later, let's say if you want to basically, so recall something, it's easier for you to refer your own notes. I can give some notes, but following my notes, it will confuse. You make your own note is kind of a best practice. At least, I would suggest from my side. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Raghu, after creating the server, say end of the day, we need to stop it or we have to uninstall? Which one is better?
I'll just talk about this. Yeah, in a minute I'll talk. In Putty, you'll always get a black background only. Okay, don't worry about that particular white background. White backgrounds, don't use it because it affects your eye. I will not suggest you. Okay, so go with black background. Just whatever you get a default, you can use that. And it's a tool. I mean, based on your flexibility, you can always play around. In Mac also, you will get it black only if I'm not wrong. So explore the options of the terminal. That's it.
No, it's white in my case.
Might be already customized. Yeah, you'll find out somewhere. Just say end utility. You can just go to the properties and you open terminal, comes black. So you'll find out somewhere the preferences, go there, and yeah, use basically. I think basic itself is coming as black for me, at least I'm not sure. So you just use, change the colors as per your name. Any other questions? Okay. So probably we'll stop here. Yeah,
In Amazon Web Service, you said that you have created, page, right, Raghu? It's your DevOps practice page which you have to download, right? You have to launch.
Not page, image.
Image, yeah. You have customized that, so we can learn ourselves that how to customize things.
Yeah. Later we'll see.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or else I'm done for today. And one last topic is basically see, I'm done with the work, right? So if I want to use this server, see, your charging will happen in Amazon by the time when it is running. If it is not running, then it is not charged. but that's also not completely true, but that's okay for now. So if it is not running, it is not getting charged. Okay, so that is where you always try to stop the instance if you don't want it, or if you want to use the same instance tomorrow, or else you don't want this particular instance at all in tomorrow, you can launch a new one. You kind of not really storing any kind of information in that server, you can better go ahead and terminate it. Okay, so if the server is not running, there is no charge, but the server is using some storage in the backend, right? So the storage is chargeable again. Okay, so that is the reason that's a minimal charge, but still, why to get that particular charges? And you will you should never run anything which you don't want really. And another last point over here is, so always try to go into your billing dashboard every day, you know. So when you open Amazon, try to make a practice of going to my billing dashboard here, go to the billing dashboard, and you'll always watch your billing basically. Okay, your bill always should be in very minimal, less than 200 250 per month, or at a max of 300 in the last month basically. Okay, but it should be always less than that. Okay, it always has to monitor, so you should understand which resources are actually consuming more. Okay, so on the left side also you can have some bills basically. You can go to the bills and okay, you'll find out as of now there are no bills. That's okay, because we hardly use the resources. And but yeah, you will start getting the bills actually here, and so that you can see which resource or which area is actually causing, I mean which region, which service, okay, is actually consuming more bill, and you should start looking into that. Okay, every day try to, you know, watch this. Okay, and yeah, that's what I would suggest. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, Raghu, hello.
Yeah,
You said you customized AMI, na? If
yeah.
you're not stop instance, how long it will be not cost? That means how many hours it will be not chargeable. You only customize that OS, na? That means
No, what is the relation between OS customization versus billing?
I am
There's no
thinking.
relation, right?
I am thinking you customize it to OS, na? I am thinking you pay something. I am thinking like that. For
Yeah, I will pay
server,
from my
you pay something.
Yeah,
Okay.
in my account I'll be paying it. So I'm offering this image. So there is something I'm storing in my account. So that billing comes to me, that not to you actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're creating the server using my image, and you pay for the server you created. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. That's the reason. You already you pay now. My question is, if you're not terminating, we're not stopping instance now. How long it will be not not costable? That means
No,
1
it's
hour or 2 hours.
24/7 chargeable only. It's not an instance, it's an image. Okay. So it's 24/7 chargeable only. I'll be paying some. I don't know how to extract that also, because I pay a lot actually. For others also I'll use this. And yeah, so in North Virginia, so in my bill basically something like disk EBS. This is the disk actually I'm paying. So some $3 around.
Okay.
Yeah. Or even it could be less also. I mean, I'm using for some other purpose also. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Charge.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
If you want exact cost also, it's possible. AWS calculator is there. So there is a calculator from Amazon, calculator.aws. If you go there, create an estimate, and I will say EBS, and I'm using a number of instances that it is showing. I cannot use that, right? So if I use 16 GB, not for they're not giving just EBS estimate. That's okay. It will be very minimal price. Or let's put this way. I think 100 GB is $1 cost. I'm using 16 GB. I think it is going to be, that is per month. Per month, 100 GB is $1 cost. And I'm using 16 GB, or 16 GB data there. And that's where it comes around $0.16 Yeah, not more than that. Yeah.
Raghu, is billing is shows in the dollar. So even if I put the given the my Indian credit card also details, is it the billing always shows in dollar or is it INR?
No, you'll
Because
be
one of
going
your
into, yeah, you'll be getting into INR only. Okay, if you see this, for an Indian customer, it will show another thing here. But dollar is standard, yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, all right. So yeah, so let's meet in tomorrow's session and we'll continue the administrative topics. So tomorrow and after tomorrow, there'll be administrative topics. So probably we'll be done with the Linux basics by then. Yeah, thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye. Good day. Good night.